April 15th is a very important deadline for U.S. citizens like myself living here in Colombia, because this is when I have to file my taxes with the U.S. government. Let's bring in Ed Parsons. He's a CPA from the United States, now living here in Bogota. Ed, why is it so important that all the gringos like me make this deadline?
Actually, the deadline is June 15th for all the Americans living outside of the U.S.
So if I live back home, it's April 15th, but I've got a little more time if I'm living abroad.
And it's automatic. You don't have to do anything. And it's very important because starting 2008, there are actual penalties for not filing. In the past, penalties were calculated on the tax due. Starting in 2008, it's going to be at least $138 starting when your deadline was, and then you start accruing interest, and it'll never go away.
So if you're living here and you say, well, I'm not filing those papers, it's $138
at least
for not filing, and that's expensive.
And that's the least of your worries, because remember, as an American citizen living abroad, you can take advantage of the foreign earned income exclusion. I'm sure everybody out there, if they're living outside the U.S., they know what that is. What happens is if you don't file your taxes and you wait for the IRS to come looking for you, you lose the right to the foreign earned income exclusion. Let's say you're making $60,000 outside of Colombia, ignoring some other factors, you wouldn't have any taxes due. If you don't file your taxes, first you're leaving the window open for the IRS to come looking for you. There's going to be no statute of limitations. 20 years from now, there's some sort of agreement between the U.S. and Colombia, and they find out that you made $60,000 in 2007 or 2008, 2009, whichever year it is. They're going to come back to you and they're going to say, well, you didn't file your taxes, this is how much you owe us. You're going to go back and you say, well, wait, I've got the foreign earned income exclusion. They're going to say, sorry.
You lost it.
You lost it. If you don't file your taxes, you're going to lose that exclusion.
Now, for the average American living in Colombia, it's got to be easy to do this. I mean, it's just fill out the form or get an accountant who knows what you're doing. Are we looking at a lot of paperwork or a little paperwork?
Well, it depends. Let's say you're really
working at the embassy, for example.
Well, working at the embassy, you don't get the foreign earned income exclusion, sorry. But let's say someone who's working for RCN.
Okay.
Then you have one equivalent of a W-2, and you've got some interest income in the U.S. Let's say that's about it. Relatively speaking, I would say yes, it's an easy tax return to do if you want to do it yourself. Unfortunately, that's me. I've been doing it for a while. My partner's been doing it for over 25 years. And most importantly, our new partner, Attorney Terry Moore, is actually been fighting cases for over 18 years for people that thought they could do it, and one tiny mistake will make it big. So I just made reference to the statute of limitations. If you report your income, let's say you report all your income, but you forget $100 in interest, no biggie. The IRS has 3 years to come looking for you to file or to report and pay taxes on those $100. If you underreport for more than 25%, you're leaving the window open forever. There's no 3 years, there's no 7 years. They can come back in 20 years and come looking for the taxes that are related to that.
So the bottom line is I need to report 100% of my Colombian income. Don't underreport it, don't overreport it, just it is what it is based on the certificado from the company I'm working for.
Worldwide. Let's say you get creative and you open a bank account in Panama, make some interest there, make sure you report it. Switzerland just recently had to disclose all their bank accounts to the U.S., so just report all your income.
All right.
Doesn't mean you have to pay taxes on it. You just have to report it.
Ed, if people want to find your website, where can they go?
taxplannercpa.com. It's right on colombianews.tv as well.
Okay, sounds good. Ed Parsons, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Do you have a comment? Well, your emails are always welcome at colombianews@canalrcn.com. That's a report for this Friday. I'm Brian Andrews, reminding you that here in Colombia, the only risk is wanting to stay.